Hi everyone, and welcome to another video about video games with me, Rob, here on the Geek Show Podcast Network. And today we've got Fate Extella Link. Now, this is developed by Marvelous Entertainment and also published by them as well, and this is the PS4 version. This is the latest installment in the Fate Extra saga, which, if you're a fan of anime, you've probably heard of Fate Stay Night or Fate Zero or something like that. So you'll be at least familiar with the Fate franchise. It's probably Type Moon's most well-known franchise, the Fate Stay Night franchise, and it's been going strong for a long time now. But this is Fate Extella Link, and this is one of those games that's, I suppose, it's a little bit like the Musou games, the Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors games, in that it's kind of a one against many type game. It's kind of a cross between that and a visual novel with a lot of talking head scenes for the characters and a lot of text. Now, most of the characters are voiced in this, which is nice to see, but it is very much a single player action game. You take on the role of a master, so to speak, and you work together with spirits who are known as servants, and you fight a large number of enemies, and you basically fulfill your goals by defeating large numbers of enemies. And that's, in a nutshell, the essentials of the gameplay. Where the story is concerned is a bit more involved, so to speak. And as a rule, I would actually recommend playing Fate Extella the Umbral Star before you play this game, because this is effectively a sequel to that game. And Fate Extella the Umbral Star itself, it's kind of a sequel to Fate Extra. Anyway, the action all takes place on Se.Ra.Ph. Now, Se.Ra.Ph is basically Se.Ra.Ph. It's basically the virtual world that holds the remnants of humanity after the Holy Grail wars and natural disasters and disease and everything like that have ravaged the Earth. And it's basically hosted within the Moon Cell computer. Survivors from Earth remotely uploaded their consciousness into the virtual world, hoping to find a new home within its ever-shifting digital landscape. Here, even virtual beings have their own souls, living independent lives in pursuit of their own hopes and dreams. And so now you've got rid of the whole arcane side of things, and it's all been replaced by lines of code that modern-day mages, known in the digital realm as wizards, use to replicate the same effects. But the Holy Grail War has also infiltrated the digital world, so the Holy Grail War has gone digital, or it did until you came along, and that is basically the storyline for this whole thing as it goes through. Now, you'll learn more about the story as you're playing the game. There is a lot of exposition in the game, and you'll meet some of your servants, and you'll meet various other characters. But effectively, what this is, it's another invasion on Se.Ra.Ph by an enemy, mysterious enemy, whose goals you don't quite understand, and whose goals will become clear as you play the game. Now, as a one against many type game, or as a Warriors style game, which is effectively what it is, it's not bad. It lacks a certain amount of the charm that some of the Dynasty Warriors games have. It's not really a harsh transition between the visual novel style exposition side of things and the action-oriented Warriors style gameplay, but there is a weird dichotomy between the two. They don't quite sit as naturally as maybe they could. And I think part of the reason for that is because unless you're familiar with the Fate story, especially the Fate Extra saga, then there's going to be a constant thing at the back of your mind saying, well, I don't know who this character is, and I don't know why I'm related to this character in the first place, which is why I said this is mainly a game that you'd probably want to play if you've played Fate Extella the Umbral Star and Fate Extra. You don't necessarily have to have played Fate Extra, but Fate Extella the Umbral Star I would regard as essential before picking up this game. Anyway, back to the action, and in terms of the action, it is actually quite stylish. I would say it's about equal in terms of the style and in terms of the fluidity of the actions to the Warriors games, there are a lot of enemies that you can fight. It's very easy to build up your gauges and pull off power moves, things like that. It's kind of satisfying to be able to do stuff like that as well with whichever character you're choosing to play as. And obviously you've got your noble phantasms and various other special attacks that you can use, which are also quite satisfying in terms of the effects used. In terms of the actual narrative, in terms of the reason to play the game, it's a little bit shakier ground because this is a sequel of a sequel. And that's where you're going to run into certain narrative structural problems that rely on you having foreknowledge of things that have gone before. For example, the game will introduce characters who you clearly know who they are in terms of the actual storyline, but you as the player don't know who they are. But that's the problem that if you're playing this as a standalone game, you're going to face. And that's not really a problem per se, because this game really isn't aimed at people who haven't played the previous games. So, that leaves me in kind of a weird position, because having played the Umbral Star, I do understand a lot of the narrative of Fate Extella Link, and when you get to the visual novel style side of things, it's really a case of just reading, listening to the words and reading the subtitles, whichever you want to do, and you get involved in the story that way. But if you're not a fan of the visual novel style exposition, then you're probably not going to enjoy this game, because there is a lot of that. The action sections are lengthy in their approach. They are based on the Warriors style gameplay after all, but the narrative sections are also equally lengthy. What I would have liked to have seen is something a bit more action oriented, where you could actually navigate around and talk to characters instead of this on-rail storytelling that they seem to have adopted for these games. It would have been nice if it adopted a style that was similar to what they use in things like Danganronpa or Dark Rose Valkyrie or something like that, where you could move around and you could talk to different characters and you could basically have some kind of action in between. But simply adopting a visual novel style, I don't know, that's where the dichotomy comes in, because you've had all this frenetic action, but there's no mid-level action. It just goes frenetic action, then stop. And there's no midpoint between the two. There's no way to wind the gears down or build the gears up. It's not really a flaw again, but it's something that didn't quite sit well with me as a player. I would have liked that exploration side of things, where you could go around and poke your nose into various buildings and stuff like that. A little bit like you see in games like Dark Rose Valkyrie and things like that. But anyway, let me know what you think about Fate Extella Link in the comments below. Are you a fan of the Fate series? Did you enjoy this game? Do you like the Warrior style gameplay that it's got? Leave your comments below, and I look forward to reading them. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all on the next video.
急いでご主人様に合流してください。 俺はマスターに近づこうとする敵の撃破に向かうぜ。
ではでは進軍開始。気持ちいいな。便利なものよな。はっはっはっ落ちるがよい。やっはっふっはっはっふっはっはっふっはっ無礼者出直すがよい。
撃破完了。お疲れ様。次のターゲットに向かってくれ。英知をもって命ずる。制圧完了。どうだい俺の活躍、なかなかのものじゃないか。
先を急ぐぞ。行くよ。制圧完了。こんなのちょちょいのちょいですだもん。ふっはっやっ。そうじゃない。ここにはプラントがいる。奴から倒さなければ制圧はできないぞ。やっはっやっはっはっやっはっやっやっはっふっはっはっやっなんのはっはっはっふっはっふっやっはっ吹っ飛ぶがよい。やっはっはっふっはっ無礼者出直すがよい。ふっはっふっはっ吹っ飛ぶがよい。やっふっはっふっはっはっやっはっやっはっやっふっはっふっはっ痛いではないか。なんのやっ痛いではないか。はっやっはっやめるがよい。これで一旦敵を退けられましたね。ふっはっふっ無礼
マスターを
者
狙った部隊は全滅したか。ならば作戦を変えるとしよう。
さて私の出番だね。行くよ。
これはカルバリー法。まさか。
そのまさかさ。久しぶりだねお嬢ちゃんたち。それに新顔もいるのかい。だったら挨拶が必要だね。太陽を落とした女フランシス・ドレイク。ローマの富を一切合切頂戴しに上がったよ。
赤い海賊のライダーか。貴様まで何の恨みがあるのだ。
私は海賊だよ。海賊ってのは裏切りと闇討ちがトレードマーク。私が裏切るのは鳥が空を飛ぶようなもんさね。
よし、よく吠えたなデカパイ海賊。だったら俺に切られる覚悟もできているだろう。帆柱ごと波間に沈むがいい。
遠距離からの砲撃。
このままではご主人様の身が持ちません。敵の砲撃をストップさせてください。
さあお前たち、頭を落とせばこっちの勝ちさ。やっちまいな。
たわいもない。奏者よ、このエリアをそなたに捧げよう。
まだ耐えられているけど、そう長くは持たないかもしれない。
ではでは進軍開始。先よりそ気持ちいいな。行くぞ。先よりそちょいですかも。シンクに止めよう。
制圧完了。どうだい俺の活躍、なかなかのものじゃないか。
やっやっふっはっふっはっふっはっはっふっ。今日は楽しい。はっやっ天幕よ落ちよ。ロサイクス切り捨てる。制圧お疲れ様。さあ残りもやっちゃいましょう。行くぞ。なかなかの働きっぷりですが、まだまだアルバイト感覚ですよ。制圧お疲れ様。さあ残りもやっちゃいましょう。はっ気持ちいいな。
覚悟はいいかい。ここからは略奪の時間だよ。おっと攻撃してる場合じゃないね。かかってきな。花は散り際が美しいって知ってるかい。あれに散りがいいさ。バラの皇帝。
陽の美しさは永遠。まだ散るわけにはいかんな。華麗に決めるぞ。
楽しませてくれるね。いいよ、真っ向勝負といこう。ここまで追い詰めるとはね。報酬に特大の花火を見せてあげるよ。まだまだ、ここは体勢を立て直すよ。首を荒らして待ってな。
ライダーには逃げられたけど砲撃阻止は成功だ。ありがとう。
天幕よ、落ちよ。
ここが攻め時だな。全軍出撃せよ。
どうやら敵は勝負をつけに来たようですね。でもご心配なく、私に秘策があります。出雲に神あり、神美確かにたまに息吹を。山河水天に天照らす。これ自在にしてみそぎの証。名を賜物静石、神宝羽化の鏡なり。さあ、これで魔力使い放題です。一気に敵を殲滅しましょう。でも宝具の展開中は弾も動けないので、ちゃんと守ってプリーズ。
よし、キャスターに敵が接近したらすぐに迎撃してほしい。行こう。
いいなものよな。
行きます。覚悟してください。
複製サーバントだな、あいつは。何も構わず同化しやがって。
複製同化。敵はどういう連中なのだ。
こいつは厄介だな。あの黒い騎士は俺が抑えるぜ。
たわいもない。奏者よ、このエリアをそなたに捧げよう。間に合ったみたいですね。ナイスです。行くぞ。便利なものよな。
私の毒は甘くしびれますね。私がいる戦場こそが形のない島。あなたを新しい生贄として歓迎します。期待を見せました。
盛り上げていくぞ。
歓迎します。
愛の力思い知ったか。
やるものです。敵ながらお見事でした。
どうやら裏をつけたみたいだね。さあ、連中の間抜け顔をはたきに行くよ。
ご主人様の近くに敵の増援です。お気をつけください。
ほーら戻ってきたよ。さっき以上に楽しませな。
おっと、危ない危ない。こういう時は回復か。
助かりました。感謝感激救援まみれです。行くぞ。気持ちいいな。先を急ぐ。気持ちいいな。盛り上げていくぞ。天幕の飾りとなれ。
やるじゃないか。私の砲弾すべてつぎ込んで仕留めてやるよ。こいつはやばいね。
この剣は
倍返しで許してやるよ。
すらよ。痛いではない。天幕よ、落ちよ。
ここまで追い詰めるとはね。報酬に特大の花火を見せてあげるよ。負けちまったかい。ああ、みっともない様見せちまったね。
ロサイクテ。
敵軍はあと少しで壊滅だ。 もう一踏ん張り頼む。
さらに強くなったぞ。便利なものよな。行くぞ。先を急ぐ。気持ちいいな。天幕よ、落ちよ。ロサイクトゥ華麗に決めるぞ。間に合ったな。見たか奏者よ、領土を守り抜いたぞ。先を急ぐ。行くぞ。便利なものよな。何度でも言うぞ。世は奏者が大好きだ。見惚れよ、炎のバラよ。お見事でした。敵の増援部隊は完全に沈黙しましたね。タマモサービス終了のお知らせです。魔力を使いすぎて疲労困憊です。
抵抗はやめておいた方がいい。我々は侵入し、侵攻し、侵略し、そして全て等しくオラクルする。あらゆる抵抗には意味がない。いや、意味はあるね。力持つ存在には責務が伴う。俺にはそもそも無抵抗など許されない。そして何より抵抗する俺はかっこいい。理由はそれで十分。なぜって俺は単純な作りだからな。着をつけよう。
カルナさん、タマモショックですが戦うしかないのですね。
はっきり言ってものすっごい強敵だな。戦うしかない。頼むぞみんな。
ありがとさ。援軍に来たあんた、かっこよかったね。
カルナさん、私も決心しました。どちらが真の太陽の英霊か、いざ勝負。
俺でよければいくらでも相手になろう。勝敗で真の太陽が決まるわけではない。
見よマスター、全て我らの領土となったぞ。気持ちいいな。
俺の相手はお前か。
でよければ相手になろう。いい戦いになれば。
この活躍はたまもちゃんも認めざるを得ませんね。炎のバラよ。
そら
カチッときました。盛り上げていくぞ。変楽の飾りとなれ。
やるな。いい攻撃だ。手加減はできんぞ。
何のニコレよ。エロサイクス切りつける。シンクに止めよう。そら少々油断したか。フォローを頼むぞマスター。我が才を見よ。万来の喝采を聞け。インペリウムの誉れを囲み咲き誇る花のごとく開け黄金の劇場よ。受け取るがよい。ラウセント・クラウディウス。
追い詰められた。お前の強さは本物だ。
無礼者出直さふっやっ天幕よ落ちよ。華麗に決めるぞ。炎のバラよ。肉の奏者よ。愛の力思い知ったか。
俺の負けらしい。お見事。すごいな。本当に一騎当選だ。